It's a bull. Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Man, it's like 66 degrees out there. Take a look at those ocean conditions. Perfect for boating, swimming, whatever. Probably a little bit cold for me, though. I see some people sitting out here without shirts on and stuff. They got to be Canadians for sure. Only two kinds of weather in Canada, I heard, cold and colder. Not unlike Florida, hot and hotter, but a beautiful day out there, 66 degrees. Got a couple people out there surfing. Look, I think they're learning. It's a good day to learn to surf, small enough waves. Well, got an interesting video for you today. We're going to talk about a few things that with BOFA, for example. I mean, you know, I'm surprised. It should have been the biggest news in precious metals in a while, and it's kind of just like been glossed over, talked about a couple times, and dropped. No mainstream press, which is to be expected. Corporate press, I should say, has covered this BOFA deal at all in any way, shape, or form. And for the heck of it, we'll take a look and see if we can find anyone that's covered it a little bit here in the video. Meanwhile, the meme of the year, the theme of the year is think for yourself and question authority, even question yourself. Of course, you've probably heard me say this for the last 2 weeks, so I don't need to repeat myself. You know exactly what we're talking about here. And teach your kids to do the same thing, and the people around you as well. I think the reason that we're in such a mess, this country, economically and politically, is because we've allowed corporate media, government, and officials to do the thinking for us, okay? And you see how well that's turned out. Again, I'd say the smartest thing you can do is turn off the corporate news, turn off that CNN, turn off that Fox, turn off that MSNBC, turn off that Wall Street Journal even. I gave up Wall Street Journal after 10 years. Because I realized they all have a political slant. They all have a single point narrative, the official narrative that you're supposed to believe, and that's the only, you know, if you deviate from that, then you're the enemy or something to that effect, or you get deplatformed. Well, think for yourself and question authority. Boy, that's the smartest thing any of us can do in these given times. Let's take a look at prices here. A little sideways in gold right now, but gold's holding up pretty well. Silver is still getting a little monkey hammered about the same time. Oddly enough, it's happening pre-Comex hours. It's happening before this 8:20 a.m. Time frame. I'm trying to figure out what markets would silver get hammered in, the overnight markets and the morning markets before Comex opens. There's only a couple. London's open, and then you've got the Globex markets, which are open. And Globex is run by Comex, the Crimex people. Again, that's my opinion, the opinion of a lot of others out there, because Comex credibility is man, getting on the shorter and shorter side. I guess they didn't go long on credibility at Comex because, like I said, people's views, the mainstream view of the average Joe out there, and a lot of people that invest and buy and sell silver, even some mining companies are starting to realize that crooked Comex allows these big commercial short positions to hammer the price of silver down for no other reason than to manipulate it down to make a lot of money. They're not in it to hedge, they're not in it to speculate, they're in it just simply to use their multi-billions of dollars just, again, to manipulate a market. When you get that kind of money, you just roll right over people, and that's what they do. And there's no other reason for it. And again, it's crooked, and it's manipulative, and it's just bad overall for Comex. Not really for us silver buyers and us gold buyers, because it provides us an opportunity to buy gold and silver, physical, real stuff, not their paper bullshit, at much lower levels. So keep stacking, folks. It's, again, if you're in this to get rich quick, and you've been, you know, you bought it last year or the year before, and you're looking at 2021 and you're crying about 22, I didn't make any money in 2021. Well, listen, if you got into gold and silver, again, to get rich quick or make a lot of money quick, then you're in the wrong market, man. You need to go back, you need to go somewhere. You need to go to a casino or get into cryptos or something like that. To me, there's not much of a difference between the two. Well, there is, I'm sorry, but I kind of look at cryptos as a highly volatile casino type. And really, if you think about it, that's kind of what Comex is. Comex is a big casino as well. But the thing with Comex is, well, probably the same thing you're seeing with cryptos right now, is that the Comex casino allows the largest players out there, the big whales, you know, they got whales in Las Vegas and casinos, the whales, they allow the whales to cheat. and they allow the whales to win every time. They allow them to cheat and win. You know why? Because the casino makes a lot of money off that vig that they make off those whales. So that's why the casino, Comex, Crimex, turns a blind eye to these monkey hammerings by these large short positions, because they make a lot of money on it, folks. But you know what they're going to do too? What happens to a casino when the word gets out? Not through newspapers, not through corporate news, because you can't expect anything from corporate news. They don't say shit until the stuff's blown apart and it's been blown up and taken people down with it. They wait till that happens because they're pretty much clueless. Again, they're there to paint a particular narrative about the casino. Oh, the casino's great, the casino's great. And when it blows up, they distance themselves and make it sound like they discovered the casino was bad. That's corporate news for you. But most of the players in casinos, the word gets around amongst players, and we're players. We're small players, folks. We're not big whales, but we're players. And the word is getting around amongst silver players all over the world, not just in the United States, that the Comex price discovery, or what they use for price discovery in Comex, which would be the again, the Comex markets and the overnight markets, are heavily manipulated by these large whales. Who's going to go to that casino at some point? So Comex, other than the whales, all right? And once you know how the whales are cheating, it's pretty much to beat around their games. Now, of course, you can't win. You can't go head to head with these big whales. I mean, think about BofA with, not even JP. You can't go head to head with them because, first off, no government agency is going to jail them. They're going to fine them maybe, but they're not going to jail them. And the fines will probably be 1/10 of what they actually made breaking the laws and manipulating these markets. Again, too big to fail and too big to jail. That's the issue we've got going on here. We no longer have, a lot of the young folks here, they see it, and you got to be blind not to see it, folks. We're not in a free market capitalistic system like we were, or we've slowly become a crony capitalist system where those who are inside with the regulators like Comex, who have the regulators working for them, and actually a lot of government regulators end up going to work for these major banks and stuff like that, or vice versa. Look who was treasurer last year. Somebody, wasn't one of the people from JP or Goldman Sachs, the treasurer of the U.S. or whatever. But no less, they're in bed, folks. These large corporate entities that have no interest in you or I other than milking us dry over time and enriching themselves are crony corporations. This is a crony corporate system we got going on right now. Again, where the big whales can get the agencies that are supposed to keep an eye on them and make sure that they don't cheat and make sure that the game is played fairly, work for them, all right? So this is not capitalism, folks. This is crony capitalism, what we got going on. And you got to point that out, especially to young people. Oh, man, the system's rigged, and this is capitalism. No, it's not capitalism. There's a big difference. It's actually closer to communism than it is capitalism. Crony capitalism is when the government and these corporate entities are in bed with each other. And like I said, for the 5th time, that's what we got going on here. Let's take a look at spot price. I'm going to do a quick refresh here. 1821.51, down a little bit. So I guess the coin's right today. The coin said a bull. We got kind of a little bear market, not bear, it's kind of sideways and down, but it's encouraging that platinum's up a couple bucks. I think platinum's been a tell for me a couple times in this for the last 3 or 4 months or something like that. Let's look at the ranges, 1820 to 1830. She's kind of hanging on to that above 18 mark, and again above 1820. A little range bound at $10 right there, sitting about the low, close to the low for the day. Silver knocked below that $23 mark, and it doesn't surprise me. Silver is the most monkey-hammered market at Comex, even way bigger than gold in my opinion. And you can see that with all the games that have been played, and we've talked about these videos and the short positions. And again, what we're going to talk about today is the BOFA 800 million ounce short position, where they've sold short physical, which is very, very dangerous. I'm going to see if we can find any corporate news talking about this, and we're going to discuss a little bit what Ted Butler says about this as well. You got to give Ted Butler the credit for this discovery of BOFA being short this many ounces, and Of course, a lot of talking heads out there like to take credit for stuff, but I like to give credit where credit is due. And Mr. Ted Butler from Butler Research is probably one of the smartest guys out there in internet land, the interweb, when it comes to telling you who the players are, how they cheat the game, and a lot of details too that you don't hear from other people. So big fan of Ted Butler, and I'm going to give it up to him. Good job, Mr. Butler. So let's move into, well, 22.89 is a low, 23.33, so that's quite a range. The interesting thing is silver is trading in that 50-cent range that seems fairly healthy to me. It's something we saw all through 2019, 2020, and not really 2021, so it's kind of a weird market. But no less, we're in 2022, and I think things are changing. The times, they are changing. Let's see, let's look at the 24-hour charts here. Again, got an interesting video today talking about the BOFA short position, which I haven't seen a lot of people speak about other than to not say much, actually, especially again in the corporate media. 24-hour spot prices, let's see where we started to see some of this monkey hammering. London typically has been known as a gold market. A lot of gold is traded in London. I'm not quite sure about silver. I think Comex has much bigger silver trade, or trading is done more on Comex markets than the London markets with silver. But gold, the London markets have been around, created a long, long time ago. And they primarily were involved in setting the price of gold. And not only that, London markets have got just as bad a credibility. This is the reason that they're not the strongest gold market in the world now, because of credibility issues. Same thing we're going to see probably with Comex, these NYMEX markets down here. But let's take a look. When did the price of gold start to fall? Green line would be last night after yesterday's close. Got about the same place. Take a look at when these patterns are occurring. For months now, a couple months now, this price spikes and the rubber band effect of snapping back up again has been occurring in the New York markets. You see this line right here on my cursor, straight up, primarily when these down markets have been occurring in gold and silver, but primarily in silver. However, I'm starting to see some action here, where does London start at? Yeah, prior to London, so it ran up in the Hong Kong markets, I believe, probably not in New York Globex markets. Again, I think most of the time I've heard when you see big trades done in the Globex markets, the intent was merely just to drive the price down, because nobody in their right mind would sell large amounts of gold or silver in the Globex markets overnight or even in the daytime, I guess, because it's almost a 24-hour market, because it's a thinly traded market for metals and stuff. No less, looked like the price action was pretty good in Hong Kong, I suspect. So there you go. I'm assuming too, because with this chart, you see this choppy action on the upside here. These are the markets that are open during this time. Hong Kong, say if we went straight down here, Hong Kong was open and the Globex markets were open. Some of the big markets out there. So I suspect that this choppy action took place in the Hong Kong markets, and that this precipitous drop that we've seen in the price of gold was probably monkey hammered by some large corporate entity in either the London markets or the Globex markets, where it kind of continued a little bit on today. But again, gold's holding its own pretty good. What's unusual for me of late, and I don't know if any of you other guys that follow charts or look at this market like I do every day, like the donut guy makes it time to make the donuts. But you start to spot patterns, and here's kind of a new pattern that I've spotted here, is that well, let's take a look at when silver kind of got the hammer dropped on it. Again, it's been typically, here's the New York line right here. Actually, you can see the shaded area right here. See that little shaded? That would be the New York market right there. And it looks like the monkey hammering of silver actually started again prior to the New York NYMEX markets opening for quite a while now, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, I don't know, I stopped counting. We saw this drop right here happening almost like clockwork every morning, and it was happening again when the New York NYMEX opened. Now it's happening, starting a bit early here. I don't know why. Again, I suspect it's just monkey hammering in the price of silver, and that the problem with these people that do this is they don't want to kind of get caught in patterns where they can be discovered of their wrong. I don't know. They're mixing it up in the times a little bit, maybe just to throw people off, to make it look like, oh, it's a natural pattern. But no, there's nothing natural to this in my opinion. Again, silver starting to take its hit, kind of clean. Oh, I'm sorry. Gosh darn, I'm on the red line right there. Sorry about that, folks. Let me reverse here. It's even worse. It's even further back than that. Let's take a look at last night when silver started hemorrhaging. Wow. All right, this is even a stranger pattern that I haven't noticed. Again, it's been happening. Take a look. That was January 13th, which was yesterday, I believe. There it was yesterday morning, right before New York opened. The monkey hammering started. So was that London or in the crooked Globex markets? But this morning, again, that's a pattern I've been seeing here happening for a couple weeks now. Typically, it always started at the NYMEX markets. All right, now I'm seeing it monkey hammered earlier than that, before NYMEX even opens. But look at this green line right here. Steady markets all night. Was that in Hong Kong, I suspect? The Hong Kong markets were pretty good for silver. Spiked up there a bit. Perhaps, let's see, where is the... there it is right there. Okay, spiked up, looks like prior to the London markets opening. So take a look at this monkey hammering. Where does this occur? Again, I don't think London is really known for big volumes of silver being traded in London. I could be completely wrong, and if I am, someone please call me out in the comments section below. I'd like to know. I can't tell. You know, this indicates that a large amount of silver was sold overnight, okay? That's what these lines basically indicate, or a large amount was purchased or something. But here's a large amount of silver sold on one of these markets overnight, and I don't know if it's Globex, London, or Hong Kong, hard to tell. But again, London market is typically known for gold. I suspect this monkey hammering probably started in the Globex markets more than likely. I'd be surprised if it was Hong Kong again, but tough to say. But then, no less, look at that monkey hammering. The pattern is a little different now. It's starting before we wake up in the morning again, something we've seen happen a couple years ago when that was the trend mostly. You see the gold and silver would get monkey hammered in the thinly traded Globex markets. And before you woke up in the morning, you'd see the prices quite a bit down. But that stopped for a while, and all of a sudden it seemed like the trend was for it to just go up and down in the New York markets and then kind of stay steady through the rest of the day. Just some weird patterns going on here. I'd like to get your opinion on it too. Anyone want to make a comment below, please do. I'd really like to see some comments on this because it's kind of confounding to me a little bit. Well, anyways. All right, markets, boy, the stock markets aren't looking that great. Dow Jones down, S&P down, NASDAQ down, even gold down a little bit here. Looks like crude oil's up a bit. I think that again, commodities. I think commodities are going to be the big winner in the next couple years coming up. It's just a slow starter for gold and silver right now, but like I said, it's not just gold and silver markets that I'm sure that are heavily manipulated. I think other markets are probably manipulated as well, but scrutinized a little bit more, like oil and those kind of markets, than the silver market does, because I don't think that the government or officials or Comex would allow people to really monkey hammer the price of oil down or up, you know what I mean? But anyways, they may. All right, let's take a look at, again, I'm talking out my ass there. I don't know a lot about stocks and the equities markets and how they operate. I'm learning, though. I'm learning, and I'm trying to learn with you guys. So let's take a look at my faux portfolio. Fake, obviously. I don't really have a portfolio in stocks here. I got some in a IRA that I regretted ever opening, but I'm probably going to get more heavy into it. This is kind of looks like across the board. The only thing doing well in my little stock portfolios is what I call food stocks, recession-proof stocks, in my opinion. And SNDL, oh gosh, it's a marijuana stock, believe it or not. Someone told me to take an eye on it, but gosh, it looks like they're doing okay. Kind of a penny stock too, but no less. I know nothing about this. Do not take my advice or buy any of these things based on what you're looking at here. However, I'm thinking that once gold gets to the moon, we're going to see we will see a bubble in gold and silver. It always happens. You know, all the big up markets in precious metals have always ended with the gold and silver bubble getting pricked a bit and dropping down quite a bit. The last couple were actually caused by monkey hammering, and I think JPM. JP actually was responsible for the 2012 market crash in gold and silver in many ways, in my opinion, and other big commercial short positions that screwed the pooch. Well, let's take a look here, and we all know why they did that, because it's crony capitalism, and they're just to put money in their pocket and slowly milk us all. They don't want to bankrupt us all at once because it wouldn't be good for them. So what they do is slowly milk us, kind of like the Matrix, where they got people in pods and the computer's milking everybody. It doesn't kill them; it just milks them slowly for whatever energy or money they have. All right, Bitcoin, actually surprised, up 10. What is that, 10%? I just saw that kind of jump up. It was down 3. Let me just refresh that real quick. Oh, no, I must have not refreshed it from earlier. Down a little bit, and Bitcoin's been having a pretty tough week here as well. Let's take a look at that, the 1 month chart. Yeah, 1 month chart here, if you take a look at that. Not too good. The trend is overall, it looks like downward for Bitcoin as well. Let's take a look at what we're going to talk about today. And I'm not going to, I shouldn't actually, this is a paid subscription from Ted Butler. By the way, I'm very, I have a lot of admiration for Mr. Butler and the research that he's done and the reports that he's provided. I think he's the one that's come out and discussed this big BOFA short position, so he does get the credit for this. Originally, he had felt it was a 300 million ounce position that they were short, BOFA was short. And it's not just a normal short. From what Mr. Butler says, this short position involved Bank of America purchasing physical silver from JP Morgan, okay, because I think JP Morgan has a ton of silver actually, and they leased it out to Bank of America, and Bank of America sold that silver into the market this last year. Now, is there any wonder that silver markets were hammered down pretty tough this year? There was 800 million ounces of silver thrown into the market that was by BofA, who sold it. Again, apparently from what I can tell, Bank of America purchased 800 million ounces of silver from JP and sold the silver, but they have to give the silver back. They can't just roll this over. They have to replace that physical silver. So what happens to Bank of America all of a sudden if the price of silver starts shooting up, going up crazy? They're going to default on that. They're going to default on that lease with JP Morgan if this is all correct. And Mr. Butler pretty much believes that this is absolutely true. He's looked at the COT reports. It appears to be that there is public data that shows this to be correct. The question you have to ask yourself, though, is with BOFA, why isn't no mainstream media talking about that? That's a huge short position. A couple things. First off, and even stranger to me, I went and looked, and I'm looking at this. In 2020, August 2020, BOFA sees $35 silver feasible next year. That would have been 2021, and reiterates $3,000 gold view. All right, so this is their position in what they think 2021 will be like, and we saw what 2021 is like. And in fact, oddly enough, for someone that sees silver at $35, why? It starts to make a little sense here, maybe. BOFA, well, no, it doesn't, because why would BOFA buy 800 million ounces of silver and then lay it off immediately in 2021 for sub $30 price, sub $25 level? I'm not quite sure what level they sold it at. However, they're not going to do too well if silver went to $35 based on the short position they own. So this is all an enigma. This is all crazy stuff. And other than Ted Butler, there's nobody out there reporting on this and trying to make sense of this right here, especially in your corporate media. And think about this, 800 million ounces. What if silver goes up $10 and in order to replace that silver, if they can replace that silver, and again, 800 million ounces, isn't that like as much as we mine in a year or something like that? How the hell is Bank of America going to replace that silver with JP? Is there some kind of deal they made with the devil? Does BOFA know that JP is going to drive the price of silver down dramatically so BOFA can make a huge profit on that deal? What are these 800-pound gorillas out there doing? Is BOFA really stupid to short? Are they that stupid to say this and then go ahead that year and short silver? I mean, literally short real physical silver. They have purchased 800 million ounces of silver. I don't even know what that comes out to. Let's see if I can get Siri to even print that number. 800 million times 25. Oh, I don't think Siri can hear me. Let me see. 800 million times 25. There you go. Oh my God, I can't even comprehend that kind of number. So that is actually the purchase price. Now, 800 million times a $10 move. Let's see what that is. 800 million times $10. Oh, no, that's not the way to phrase it. 800 million times 10. There you go. There would be the loss that BofA would suffer if silver went up $10 and they had to try to replace it at $10 higher than what they paid for it. Folks, that's major. That would take down one of the biggest banks in the country. Something does not make sense here. Ted Butler's kind of uncovered all this stuff here. However, I don't think there's been any officials, government officials, well, what do you expect, talking about this, looking into this. I don't think they're probably implicit. They're probably complicit as well if they're not just plain ignorant. So what's going on here? I mean, this is huge, huge news, and we don't see it anywhere. And for example, let me go to DuckDuckGo here. All right. By the way, this is the best search engine out there. They don't track you online. So, and I notice I don't get a bunch of crappy advertisements all the time either by using this search engine. And no, they don't pay me anything for saying this. Let's type in BOFA silver short position and see if we get CNBC, Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg's, any kind of Bloomberg or anything article. Oh, well, hey, it's nice to see Ted Butler's at the top of that page until they knock him down, probably. I mean, at what point does financial corporations start getting big tech to deplatform people they don't want to tell stuff like this? So there we go, Reddit, where I expect to see it, where it's been posted. I posted it out there as well. So Reddit talks about this. Ted Butler's at the top of the page because obviously he knows what he's talking about on this stuff. But look at this, Reddit, Whale's Wisdom, Reddit, and that's it. That's it. There is no corporate talk. BOFA, let's see, BOFA Silver Lease, JPM. Let's type in JPM. Let's just see if we can find any news anywhere. JPM lease, Reddit, of course, JPM lease BOFA this 800 million ounces. Where is it? Sold into the market. That's where it is. And that's probably why we had last year's down and slow prices like we did. There was 800 million ounces of silver dumped into the open market out there. But man, it was sucked up pretty good, even though silver only went down to $21. If to 800 million ounces on the market, I don't know if they spread it out over time or did it overnight. They probably spread it over time to knock the silver prices down. But this is big news, man. And where do you see it out here? Take a look. Do you see any of the major companies, news talking about this? Not a single one. Let's see, what else? What am I missing? What search term would I be missing to see if, let me just type in CNBC and see if they have anything to say. Nope. Oh, CNBC. Nope, just their name came up here. Let's see if Wall Street Journal has anything on the BOFA silver lease, that 800 million ounces, all right? This is huge, folks, and again, no reporting anywhere whatsoever. Look at that, Butler Research, that's it. Reddit, Biden's green stamps, talks about soaring to, silver soaring to $50. Oh, that's kind of an interesting article we haven't read. When was that, actually? Oh, that had to have been 2020, I bet you. Yep, 2020, when they had to talk about silver. But look, not a damn thing about JPM leasing BOFA 800 million ounces of silver. Not a word from any of these major. Let's see if I can find anything from Bloomberg. Let's type in Bloomberg. Ready? And doesn't this make you curious, folks? I mean, this is serious stuff that Mr. Butler's brought up here. And again, nothing. Reddit. And let's see, Bloomberg. Nope, nothing. Nothing. Again, this is your corporate news where most people get their information and data from corporate news on a daily basis. All right, this is why I'm telling you, turn that shit off. What they do report is nonsense, bullshit, and brainwashing, in my opinion, for the most part, trying to get you to trying to get you on board to look at something in their view only. All right. As far as real reporting and investigative journalism, I haven't seen investigative journalism by a corporate media since I don't know when. And the investigative journalism I have seen has only been Julian Assange is the only real investigative journalist out there. And you see where he is. They put him in the bottom of a prison in UK. So as far as corporate media, they suck, man. Turn them off. Don't listen to them. First off, they lie to you all the time. The second thing is that they don't do any investigative journalism. All they do is repeat what they want you to believe and repeat what their corporate masters tell you to believe, all right? Again, if you found any articles, let's see, BofA, JPM do swaps trade tied to new, ooh, there's a Bloomberg. Let's see if they actually talk to anything here. Bank of America, JP enter swaps trade tied to new LIBOR replacements. When was that? That was 2021. Bank of America and JP struck the first swaps trade tied to a Bloomberg short-term bank yield index. I don't think this has anything to do with silver. No, it does not. It just talks about Bloomberg. Oh, right, think about this here. Bloomberg, a corporate investigative journalism company, is in bed with Bank of America, struck the first swaps trades tied to the Bloomberg short-term. So these people, like I said, this is a perfect example that I've run across accidentally, that Bank of America, JP Chase, is in bed with Bloomberg, the publication, more or less. This is not news, folks. This is just them marketing truth, what they want you to think is the truth. All right, I'm getting a little bit out of hand here, and I'm starting to repeat myself, but I really couldn't find anything that has any articles or any thing talking about what's going on with this BOFA 800 million ounce short position. Where was I going from here? Oh, I like that little, this is a perfect thing too. This is us, this is me, this is a lot of people out there, yourself included, that are aware of this. A lot of people on the Wall Street Silver Apes are like this. This is actually where I got the little meme from, and I'd like to thank whoever put this meme up on Wall Street Apes. Pretty cute and very spot on, man. So this is the small but ever-growing amount of us people out there that are woke. I guess I won't use the term woke because that's a pretty negative term to use, but we've woken up from the nonsense of corporate news and crony corporations that are in bed with government. And look at this. This is me. This is Ted Butler right here, the first guy to talk about this BOFA 800 million ounce short position that they've sold off, that they've got to replace somehow. And guys, watch out for the waterfall. Here's what the general public, if you watch corporate news and nothing else, this is the general public here. If there was a waterfall, we'd hear about it on TV, dumbass. Where's your tinfoil hat and effing conspiracy theorist, all right? And there's Ted Butler warning everyone about this major short position. But it just occurred to me, the other thing occurred to me, I did not hear, and I got to check with Ted Butler. I assumed, and I think Ted Butler mentioned that they did lay off that 800 million ounces. They sold it, but I'd like to see some more evidence of when that happened. But I don't think BofA even owns that 800 million ounces anymore. As I said, they sold it off into the market probably last year is what kept the markets down low. If they still owned it, that would kind of be interesting as well. You can do your own research on this and type in Ted Butler, BOFA, and actually I'm going to do that for you. This is a paid subscription site with Ted Butler. If you're a gold or silver dealer, or you got a lot of money invested in silver, I recommend that you read his stuff and get his $30 a month subscription. It will make you smarter than the average bear, that's for sure. Let me type in Ted Butler, because I want to look for some free stuff for you guys to look up to. Ted Butler, BOFA, short. Let me just put in BOFA short, because I could put in 300 or 800 million ounces. All right, let's see what Ted's got out there for free to read. There you go. There's some stuff out here that Ted Butler is putting out here. So here's what you do today. This is not homework. This is just suggested reading. You want to know more about this. and more of the technical aspects of it, which I could explain to you. And I don't really want to read Mr. Butler's paid subscription because that wouldn't be fair to him. So I would highly recommend you guys do a little search today and put Ted Butler, BofA short, and read all of the articles that you can on this. And you'll get an idea of exactly how dangerous this BofA short is, and how dangerous it is to the economic. I mean, if Bank of America fails over something like that, we know about it. But again, are you seeing it being talked about anywhere else? No, I can't find anything listed online where any corporate media talks about this whatsoever, or even brings it up. But again, please do take a look at this today. I think you're going to find it very interesting. And if BofA was to blow up over this whole thing, we could be some of the people that would say, we told you so. All right. Let's see what else I got to talk about today. Oh, yeah, here. Listen, you get sick of watching these silver markets and these gold markets, specifically silver markets. You get sick of watching them getting monkey hammered by these big commercial short positions whose only goal is to manipulate the price, to stick money in their pocket and make Comex even a little bit richer by their large trades that they do. And it's allowed by Comex. You don't have to know exactly how it is. I mean, government institutions should expect that the public expects them to do things like, take care of this kind of shit, you know what I mean, and do something. But maybe they won't unless they get enough complaints. And I'm still a big fan of you guys calling up and complaining. Here's some numbers. You can pause this page, write it down, put it in your phone. But consumer assistance and complaints, you can call this number toll free. I wouldn't use the tips and complaints forms. I'd rather get some live people on the phone. And if you can't get a live person on this line, call this line or call these lines right here and get someone on the phone. And let's see, there's some more customer protection. Just start making some calls. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Or is it the squeaky, all right, squeaky wheel. Okay, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Keep squeaking out there. I don't have a lot of faith in the CFTC doing the right thing. Maybe they will, but keep being a squeaky wheel out there, folks. Don't hesitate to call these people. If you're worried you want to do it anonymously, I don't think that's illegal. Just please be polite. Don't be an asshole. Be polite and just tell them that allowing these big short positions to monkey hammer the price down in the Comex markets is doing nothing but hurting a lot of small investors like yourself and a lot of miners out there that have to run companies. Okay, so I call them up, complain, man. Do it every day if you want. I don't think it's illegal. In fact, I'm sure it's not illegal as long as you're polite and you're not. You don't have to be polite, but it doesn't. You catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar, okay? So it does pay to be polite and civil when you call and talk to these people, even if you're pissed off at them. But don't hesitate to call them and keep calling them and keep bothering them and keep calling them. And again, if you're worried about wanting to be anonymous, I believe you can be anonymous. Just hit *67. That hides your phone number if you're worried about that. But again, do not be an asshole, okay? It's hard not to sometimes as well. I want to throw a bunch of F-bombs when I got them on the phone as well, but you know what? You can't. You got to kind of just keep hammering them with honey. Keep hammering them with honey. Eventually, the squeaky wheel will get the grease, I think. And Comex will probably get the point. Hey, let's look and see what Comex's phone number is too. Call Comex, all right? I'm sure they're going to appreciate me putting their phones out there. Oh, page not found. Let's see. Lose contacts. There we go. Contact. There you go. You want to complain to... Oh, no, that's not the Comex. Come on. Call Comex. Let me see if I can... I had the number up earlier. Comex Corporation. Comex Live. Anyways, let me see. Here, I'll take another shot at it. Comex. Let's see. Comex CME Group. Beautiful. Ready? There we go. Comex Group. Accept their cookies. There you go. Rules and regulations. Aha! There's some phone numbers for you too. Call Comex. Let them know that their credibility in the marketplace with small investors is getting smaller and smaller. They need to know that too, because at some point, again, when you run a casino, you want to run an honest casino. When you start running dishonest tables, that cater to whales. All of a sudden, the word gets out there, your credibility is going to go to shit. Comex is a business. They should try to understand that their credibility, in my opinion, is going, and a lot of other people's opinion, is going to shit. So don't hesitate to call them and contact them. There's their phone numbers right there. Call them once. Again, be polite. Don't be an asshole. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm sorry for saying that, because that's probably just completely wrong on my part. Maybe to some degree, because none of you are assholes out there, but it's easy to get angry. I do it myself. You've heard me throw off. You heard one show where I threw off multiple F-bombs one show, so it's easy to get angry like that. I don't want to say that's being an asshole. Being an asshole is what they do. But be polite, okay? Again, sorry about that. We're not assholes when we're complaining, when we're upset. We're just very passionate about it. You know, assholes are people that hurt other people purposely, and that's what they do. They're the assholes, all right? Well, but be polite, don't be like them. And what's going on out there in the world of Zero Hedge? Again, Zero Hedge, one of my favorite news hubs. This is not a news site, it's a hub. All different writers, all different bloggers, all different news sources out here. That's the beauty of it. It gives you an option to look at different opinions and different narratives, unlike corporate media that paints you a single narrative. And one of the things I said I've always done in these videos is I'm sharing with you everything that I read, everything that I watch, my opinions. And again, this all has to do with gold and silver. It really does, all right? And other things too. We're all in this together, folks. That's just sad. Nothing to do with gold and silver. It's just sad. Well, it is kind of has something to do with gold and silver, because they've locked down their citizens down there. They basically turned. I think Australia once started out originally as a prison camp or something. Didn't Britain send all their criminals to Australia as a prison sentence? And then they were freed themselves, turned into a big, beautiful, wonderful country with great people. I love Australians, by the way, I really do. A lot of good friends in Australia, but their government, man, I thought ours was bad. Theirs sucked. That's the most draconian, Machiavellian bullshit I've ever seen, what Australia is pulling. Well, a lot of Europe's doing the same thing, but that can't be good for the economy down there in any way, shape, or form, which is probably good for people in Australia that hold gold and silver. So good for gold and silver, bad for your freedom. This guy should be in prison right here, in my opinion. He should be in prison for sure. Too big to fail and too big to jail. The shit they did to knock down the prices of gold and silver in 2012 and manipulate markets for years and years and years, finally get caught for it, get a fucking piddly-ass fine for it, and then told not to do it again, otherwise they'll get criminal charges. And what did they do? They did it again. And where's the frickin' criminal charges? There are none. Yeah, talk about passion, right? This is passion, folks. And we're passionate against assholes. Again, corporate cronyism. These people are in bed with government. This is not free market capitalism. This is crony capitalism, what you're seeing right here. Explain this to your kids as well. Do not defend these people because it is not free market capitalism. When they go down and they ask you, you can't let a capitalist system go down, remind yourself, these are not capitalists. They're greedy mother effers, all right? My opinion. Pinto warns the fiscal and monetary cliffs have arrived. Can't argue with that. Rio to allocate 1% of Treasury reserves to crypto. Well, I guess you're going to allocate something. You know what I mean? Maybe 1%, big freaking deal. But that's probably still a lot of money going into cryptos. But you know what? I wonder when that's going to happen and why. If that broke news today, why didn't the crypto markets go up? Look, oh my God, it's down 7.88%. That's not too good over the course of the month. I guess it's up a little bit from its low, though. It's touched a sub 40. But no less, man, why would you take a country? You can't be too smart if you're taking your country's money and sticking it into very volatile cryptos. I mean, look at who's that country? Not El Salvador or the other one, I don't know, whatever, Central America, that president that put their country's money into crypto at 60,000, man. It's almost half, well, not half that, but it's down substantially from what he put in there. Why would you do that, man? You just, why wouldn't you just start accumulating gold like a lot of smart countries do, or at least do what the central bankers do? This is just plain sad. I'm going to get out of here soon because it's just going to get us both angry. So, reading more and more of this, there's not too much in precious metals here. Drumbeat of war sounding loud. Folks, when a president's and administrations and the parties' standings are falling in a major way, what do? They create boogeymen. They create wars. I'm very afraid that this current administration, they have started. Think about when all this Russian stuff started. It started with Trump. Remember when the Democratic Party and Democrat officials and Democrat war hawks in general, they don't care. All they care about is war. But remember when all this started? It was started with the Trump deal. You remember that the election that the Russians helped Trump. They started a Cold War over an election, folks. Over a lost election. Hillary did, and that whole crew did. They started a new Cold War over an election loss. They blamed the Russians for the election loss. It's gone downhill since. And here's the issue I have with that is, fuck you people. Excuse me, I said it. You're starting a brand new Cold War. I lived through a Cold War, and I know how awful that is. And the idea that at any moment that you could be... And the problem with wars in general is these fuckers right here. You see these people right here on both sides with their uniforms, and these politicians, they send your kids to die for their stupidity, okay? And they're trying to start another war with Russia, getting involved with Ukraine. Why would we even think that it's okay to put UN troops in Ukraine with missiles and defensive? That would be just like if the Russians stuck some missiles back in Cuba and started putting large military ships in Cuba. It ain't gonna frickin' happen, folks. Why would we expect us not to accept them putting missiles in Cuba, but it's okay to put missiles on their border? This is the stupidity of this administration, and actually the last administration, and the war industry, the industrial military complex in general. They don't give a shit about us. Again, they'll send your kids to die in some shithole somewhere, or get us back into another Cold War where they're making a fortune. And this also gets this current administration and this president out of the hole if he can start a war with the Russians, because all of a sudden your concern is not any longer with some idiots in office controlling things, but your concern is with getting blown up by the Russians. And they will create that enemy narrative with their corporate news, and you'll forget about how shitty this administration, and the last one wasn't great either, folks. They weren't fiscal conservatives either. Presidents get worse every year since I've been born, that I can tell. And we don't elect the right ones or the good ones. But no less, another Cold War. Oh man, if I were you, I'd be calling your congressmen and senators and telling them what fucking idiots they were. Ted Cruz, what an idiot that guy is. He's pushing for this war, all right? But so is the current Democrat. This is one thing where Democrats and Republicans don't vary far from each other, is getting us into wars and getting your kids killed, okay? This needs to stop. All right, what does this have to do with the price of gold and silver? Well, I suspect that a nuclear standoff or a nuclear launch by either country would probably accelerate the price of gold and silver right through the effing roof. But do you really want to see that happen? I don't. All right, anyways. Oh, man, there's my rant for the day. Here, in my opinion, another too big to fail and too big to jail. Their assets just topped 10 trillion. These are the biggest gorillas in the entire earth right here, folks. These folks right here, they could take us all down. And in fact, I guarantee you this company's whole role is to pretend that they're going to make us rich, but meanwhile slowly milk us over our lifetimes and turn them, obviously, again, most of the wealth is owned by like 0.1%. People like this, entities like this, all right? So they're not there to do us favors. I'm all for actually breaking down these large companies and turning them into smaller companies. I know I'm a capitalist, but I'm starting to realize what the large power, how this power and large money corrupts governments, all right? Crony capitalism, again. I'm not going to keep talking about crony capitalism all day. I think you guys got the point. Peter Schiff's exactly right. All aboard the inflation freight train. Here we go. Too little, too late. And, that doesn't surprise me right there. And by the way, Ford's coming out with their electric truck, too. That's why I kind of put Ford on my little stock portfolio there, just to see how that works for them. Well, I'm going to kind of call it right now because, we can just go on, and you know me when it comes to this kind of stuff. Very passionate. So don't forget to call the CFTC and Comex today. I put them right up here for you. You can scroll back and look here. Comex, and the CFTC is, well, I forget where I put that one. Is that CF? No. CFTC is somewhere there. All right, well, you can call them yourself. You know how to look them up on DuckDuckGoose, or DuckDuckGo, DuckDuckGoose, sorry. Can't even get the name right. Yesterday's video was fake gold and silver everywhere, and I was discussing all the gold and silver that you can buy on websites, fake gold and silver, fake U.S. coins you can buy on the Chinese website and have shipped to your home, which should be highly illegal. Alibaba, who allows this stuff to go online, should be cut off in the United States completely. We shouldn't allow anyone to shop on that website, especially since they sell huge amounts of counterfeited goods. We should not allow, if I was president or king of the world, I would cut Alibaba off from the United States because, again, huge amounts of fake products they sell on that website. And I'm sure it's just more than coins, too. They should not be allowed to do any business in the United States whatsoever. And meanwhile, your government officials and your regulators and your people that are supposed to protect you against this stuff do absolutely nothing while they cover their ass and make their fortune screwing us all. All right, not too happy with either party. Well, that's it, man. I think I'm going to call it quits before I just go completely to the moon on this stuff here. I'd like to thank, well, hold on. I didn't answer anybody's questions yesterday. Let me answer a few questions here. You got a few moments. It's a weekend video. It's a Friday video. You can handle a couple more minutes. And of course, you know there's a fast forward button and a stop button on this. Ooh, lots of comments yesterday. Alan Lamore says, I wouldn't buy from my grandmother. That's what I said too. Mine too. But I still would trust her. Only buy from real dealers that will buy back what they sold me. That's great, Alan. Good to hear. There's a paper trail with the coins I buy from dealers to me. You know, folks, it's one important thing I've been telling people for a long time. Keep your paperwork on your purchases. If you ever had to sell your whole stack all at once and you got audited, because you're going to get a check for the stuff more than likely, you get audited, they're going to want you to pay the full Monty for everything you purchase. Whereas, if you spend $100,000 in gold and you don't have receipts, they're going to charge you for $100,000 in taxes, or tax that $100,000. If you got receipts that prove you paid $80,000 for it, or in your taxes you say you paid $80,000, you're only subject to paying $20,000 in taxes. Hopefully you won't have to pay any taxes on your gold and silver, but I'm not a tax expert. I won't tell you why, how, or what to do there. You need to figure that out for yourself. Joey from Seattle, does anyone think America's gold is at Fort Knox? I do not, sir. Got to agree with you more. And God, every time I see your name, it makes me want to take a sip of coffee as well. Thank you. Keisha says if you buy from a large reputable dealer online, it's mostly safe. There's the smaller sellers on eBay that are very problem. Yeah, absolutely true. It would be kind of like, think about this. You have a device that would save your life, and that if you use it, it would save your life one time. Okay, we just imagine it could be anything. Would you go and buy it from Joe Blow or buy it from a flea market? Or no, you wouldn't. All right, and I'm not saying gold and silver will save your life, but it's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money to put into something. It's your life earning. It's your hard work that you're buying this silver with. Okay, the money's not free. You know that. Especially if you watch my videos. People that watch my videos are probably not getting money for free. All right, we're hardworking people. And that's why I talk about gold and silver as a great wealth preservation, in my opinion. You spend 40 years trying to make it, and you spend the second 40 years trying to keep it. But part of keeping it is not buying from scammers, all right? So find a good dealer that knows what he's looking at, has been around for a while, exactly as a couple folks have said down here, Alan said down here, and even if you're paying a little bit more. Also, again, I highly recommend you. I've been doing this since 1977, full-time dealer. Doing it a lot longer than most people have. I'm a physical wholesaler and retailer, so that's my market I know very well. I'm not a chartist. I don't know much about derivatives or how to tell you to be a day trader in gold and silver. There's other guys that do that. I can tell you how to buy the best deal, and I can tell you what you should be looking for. But that's valuable. That's valuable. Ameripride, thank you as well. Tim Gidson says, I hate to say this, but unless you're the fire, you bring up a very good point, Tim, because I said that holding gold and silver yourself is going to be very important for you to do. And you did bring up a good point. Even a fireproof safe has its temperature limits. Of course, you've seen the videos of how fast a criminal can rip the door off a gun safe. I have said many times I don't believe in gun safes, number one. Exactly for that. I have shown on my videos, if you've watched my videos, I've shown those gun safes being opened in like 2 minutes, all right? I am a firm believer that, and you bring up, again, excellent point, that besides not having a gun safe, you have to have a really good safe. I like floor safes personally because you can hide them anywhere in the house, under a rug, under a couch, in your closet. And then first they got to find it, then they have to get into it. Good floor safes are nice. Of course, if you live in an apartment, your neighbor won't appreciate a floor safe, so maybe they would. But fireproof is something, if you're getting safe, you have to be concerned with fireproof safes. And there are a lot of well-made fireproof safes out there. Floor safes you're probably good with as well. And there's also other ways you can hide gold and silver where if your house went up, it wouldn't go up with the house as well. But excellent point. You wouldn't want to put your gold and silver. You're going to find it in a puddle somewhere. That's the nice thing about gold and silver. It's not going to evaporate. It'll be in a puddle somewhere in the remains of your home. But you don't want that either. So my recommendation is a good fireproof real safe, and or a floor safe, and or a better hiding place that wouldn't make your gold turn into a puddle. Actually, you can buy very small You can buy very small fire safes that are rated for a long time. Hide it in a wall, even hide it in I won't say the attic. That's the worst place to be. Hide it in the wall. Hide it in the basement. Hide it someplace where it's less likely to be in the flames for a long time. But again, that's something you would have to think about. And great point, Tim. Thanks for bringing that up. Guy says, Atmex, I bought 2022. Yeah, there's an issue. I read your thing here, Guy. I don't know what to tell you. No company's perfect. I'm not going to shit on Atmex, but that kind of sucks when you buy something new. They tell you to ship it back to them, then they don't ship you anything. Yeah, that sucks. I get it. And it really surprises me from a company like that as well. Thanks for commenting, Guy. Happy New Year's as well. Nice to see you out there making comments. Didn't get a chance to click that. I will later, but it sounds like something funny. Thanks for watching. And there are a lot of ways to test, that's for sure. Silver Loving Lou, how are you? He says, I do not understand how counterfeits are allowed to be imported in the country from China. Exactly, and exactly my point earlier that we should close down that site entirely, because I'm sure it's not just counterfeit quarters and dollars and current change and fake silver coins and bars that they're out there. I'm sure there's a lot of other fake shit that site sells that needs to be closed for sure. I don't know why it hasn't been, actually. If my site was selling fake stuff, they'd have me closed down in a fucking moment. Meanwhile, Alibaba, is that because senators and congressmen or officials are in bed with Alibaba somehow? Likely. They probably got stock with them. Yeah, yellow fingers, God, the smoking days. Yep, that's for sure. And hey, thanks for commenting, Stephen. Yeah, read that as well. Heart of Texas and Robert. All I've done since the 80s is purchase, never sold a single ounce. Good, you're a true stacker. It's good, and you're doing well for yourself, actually. If you've been stacking since the 80s, your overall average is pretty damn good. Sean, you're welcome. G, what do you think of the Sigma Metalytics tester? I don't know much about it. I've heard some good reviews on it. However, I'm using different machinery and different equipment myself, so I really can't tell you. But I've had a couple friends that have some, and they have come down and had me test stuff because they were getting funky readings on the Sigma Metalytics tester as well. Readings that were showing maybe it wasn't real when it indeed was a few times that I tested it for them. So I'm not quite sure. Probably better than nothing, really. But those fish detectors I showed you yesterday are absolutely the best in my opinion. Thanks for watching, Z. I hope it was all well for you. Sorry I was about to watch, but 1 hour is too long. Shorten your videos, 15 minutes or I'm out. Oh, I'm sorry, James. I replied to you yesterday. Hey, thanks for commenting anyway. Unfortunately, for those with a shorter attention span and desiring a Reader's Digest version, I will never be your channel, and that's the absolute truth. I am just a chatterbox here. So if you're looking for 15-minute reports, and I'm not your man. But I do appreciate your comment there, and I wish you well. Let's take a look at here, and there's some people that like the long videos rather than, so different folks, as I said, different strokes, different folks. I am the unabridged version of most of these guys, so you're not going to get the Reader's Digest version out of me for the most part. Thanks for watching, James, and have a good day. Valquez says, I found in pawn shops fake gold bars in original packaging. Yeah, unfortunately, as I said yesterday, we don't see a lot of them directly. The only time we see counterfeits in gold bars and coins and stuff is usually because we do a lot of business with jewelers and a lot of the business with the pawn shops. They bring us stuff. I don't know if you know that, but we buy a lot from a lot of the local dealers, pawn shops and jewelers, and we help them out as well. But yeah, they get burned a lot because they don't have the expertise like we do. And unfortunately, they even sell this stuff in their store to customers that come in. And the pawn shops honestly think they have something real, and they sell it to a customer, and the customer believes it's real. The problem is, folks, again, I don't care how honest the person is. You could be buying gold bars from your grandmother and still get ripped off. And her intentions were well. She may have got ripped off and genuinely believed she was selling you gold bars. There's no substitute for people that know what the hell they're doing. Just like hiring an electrician. You wouldn't hire a guy that didn't know much about electricity. You wouldn't hire a guy that was watching YouTube videos, fixing your videos. I mean, if you went in and you saw him working on your panel, your box, and you saw him watching YouTube videos on how to fix it, trust me, when it comes to gold and silver, you're spending enough money. Even if you have to spend a little bit of money, buy from someone that knows what the F they're doing. Thanks for watching. Let's see, here we go. Jerry from Bali. Love Lauderdale by the Sea. Man, Bali is so beautiful. As a surfer and a fisherman, I can't even imagine how great you got it there. And I wish I was there with a giant coffee next to you, sir. And what do you got here? Going through your gold. See, positive sources, a licensed professional. Yeah, exactly. Reputable jewelry firms have a 100-year cultural generation. You can mail them. Yep, that's something you'd have to really kind of drive and discuss with various head. You know what? Getting gold out of the country might be a little tough. This is something you'd have to email me about, or probably give me a call when you get a time. I'm here in the office 10 to 4, Mondays through Fridays. I'll talk to you about this. I kind of can't see it happening because a lot of these countries are very strict on the importation, the exportation, and they have great buyers in your own country. But give me a call anytime, Jerome. My God, I'd just love to discuss what a beautiful view you have. Thanks for watching. Mark, you too. Thanks for watching. And yep, that's true. Truler Records. Listen, Nitro Express says, do we have a major market crash in the metals fell by fin? Do you think the bullion dealers and miners would pull their inventories off the market? You know what? I don't think so. I mean, yeah, there probably, I'm sorry about that. There probably will be some that pull their stuff off the market. And I just lost you. Sorry about that. Newest first. Where we go? Oh my gosh, I'm down here. There you are. Bullion dealers, some will, some smaller dealers will. I would not. What I would do is I would call up and find out what my replacement cost would be, which would be absolutely fucking ridiculous probably if this happens. And I would just sell my stuff at the current replacement cost, because I want to, if I'm selling 10 ounces and the prices drop $10, I don't mind selling it if I can replace it at the same price, because I'm still maintaining my inventory. I'm still maintaining my position, if you got what I'm saying there, Mr. Nitro Express. So for me, I would sell at the lower level, but the premiums might be just stupid because I'd have to buy it back to replace those ounces. I hope that helps. And thanks for watching. I got to check out your videos, actually. I just saw you have videos on there. Hey. Anyways, thanks for watching 700 Nitro Express. David Potts says Timothy Leary is the most dangerous man in America. Richard Nixon said that. Yeah, well, look what happened to Nixon, right, Dave? Wow, pretty cool stuff here. Hey, thanks for watching, Dave. Appreciate it. Bill Sutherland says the government is quick to act against countries that cause harm to the U.S. They use sanctions, even bounty. The suppression of silver, stealing wealth from producing companies. Interesting viewpoint there, that we are stealing wealth from Mexico, their silver, by manipulating these prices downward. But anyways, they're stealing from everyone, Bill, unfortunately. Thanks for watching, Bill. John Yawning says, just a thought, wouldn't a possible good use for fake garbage be decoys? John, you're talking about putting the fake gold and silver in your house, so if the burglars come in, they're going to take that, not the real stuff? No, your stuff shouldn't be visible for anyone to see or know about. I'm a big fan. I don't even like safes, really, because I like to hide stuff. I think if you could hide a safe behind a wall in a fake room that nobody knew about, but have your safe open, all you got to do is have a cable repair guy come in, tell a friend that he saw a big safe. You wake up in the middle of the night with a gun in your face, or your gun in your wife's or girlfriend's face, open the safe. That's the danger of that right there. So, keep it low, keep it hidden, and keep it to yourself, John. That's the best security that you can have. Thanks for watching. Measuring dimensions, this is kind of what I mentioned, Alex, the fish detectors. If you go take a look at what I call FISCHE, I think it's fish detectors, and they're the best detectors out there. A little expensive, but if you want to have not spend thousands of dollars on equipment, those are the best things out there, in my opinion. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. And Michael Matthew, and you as default as well. Hans Bass, repel or repulse are the same meaning. So repulsion is the act of repelling. So So you admit correct, had it correct on paper. Thank you. Sometimes, man, it sucks getting old. My brain gets all these brain farty things, and I just kind of gum up and I start missing words and mispronouncing stuff and forgetting. It happens to all of us. So, well, fortunately, it's not happening too much because you folks can understand about half of what I say. So, hey, I think I'm going to close it. This is Brian Kuzmar. Who I am? Who am I? Who am I? Who I am? Who am I? I am a full-time precious metal dealer and a rare coin and paper money dealer since 1977. Started working with my father, a second-generation dealer. Know this stuff really well. My specialty in precious metals is not charts. It's not telling you how to be a day trader. It's telling you, not telling you, but helping you make the right decisions when you purchase gold and silver, what the products to buy, how to store them, where to keep them, and hopefully other useful stuff as well. If you live in my area, I advertise to beat Atmex and JM and SD Bullion. Boy, look how beautiful it is out there today. Oh no, that's actually yesterday's video. I advertise to beat Atmex, JM, and SD Bullion, the 800-pound gorillas out there online, for their reasonably priced bullion products. As far as the high price stuff they sell, I wouldn't even sell you half the stuff they sell on their websites, but for the lower priced premium stuff, I can beat their prices, and so should your local dealer. So if you don't live in my area, until I open up an online gold and gold business and silver business, which I'm considering actually, find yourself a good local dealer. I really highly recommend that. You can keep it local that way as well. For those of you that don't have a good local dealer, I understand why you got to buy from the 800-pound gorillas, and their prices are fair, and you should get your product and all that stuff. Problems do happen though. But again, can't stress enough how important it is to find a good local dealer. Hey, thanks again for watching. Have yourself a great, safe weekend. Enjoy the week. I think I will. It's beautiful out there, as you can tell. And where's my video? Well, it always looks like that right there, but there you go. Wow. I think I'm going to have a great weekend too. Hey, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you on Monday. Bye now.